What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Rob's Gaming Table. Today on the table we have another KeyForged sealed tournament video. This time we're at Black Knight Games in Hamilton, Ontario. This video is brought to you by these awesome folks that back the channel over at patreon.com. And this is our first game recorded from the tournament. On the left we got Nick, on the right we have Renee. Thanks to both players for playing on camera and letting us record them and watch their games. So it looks like on the left side we got Deese, Untamed, and Shadows. On the right side there we got Brobnar, Mars, and I'm not sure what that bottom one is, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. It looks like Untamed from here, but the store was a little dark in this corner where I was filming. It is good for glare, but a little dark, and the because we're using the two-player big mat, I couldn't get so close to the cards, so we'll try our best here. So it's an evasion, or not an evasion sigil. It's basically the Shadows artifact that every time a fight happens on either side, you have to discard the top card of the attacking player's deck. If it matches the house, you have to exhaust that creature and the fight doesn't happen. Yeah, it is evasion sigil. That's what it is. Okay. Thought that's what it was. Let's just look up the exact text on it here. So the exact text on evasion sigil is: before a creature fights, discard the top card of its controller's deck. If the discarded card is of the active host, exhaust that creature with no effect. And on the right side, he's got the King of the Crag. Yeah, King of the Crag, who has each enemy Brobnar creature gets -2 power, but nothing's going to happen in this matchup because there's no enemy creatures with Brobnar. Unless Dis has some capture cards that pulls creatures on the other side, then it may matter. And then it looks like a Headhunter that has the fight, gain 1 amber, and he threw a Blood of the Titans on him that gives him +5 power. And we're seeing a Control the Weak dropped here. And he's going to force Renee on the right here to play Mars on his next turn. We got a Dominator Bauble artifact, which as the action allows you to use a creature, use a friendly creature, so that way you can use non-Dis creatures on a Dis turn. So we have a Yixilix Dominator, robot Mars creature, 9/1, has taunt but comes into play stunned. And a shout out to Renee, who's brought a couple buckets there of his burger tokens. If you guys are interested in those tokens, they are at burgerstokens.com, I believe is the address. It's where one of the KeyForge deck analyzer web apps is located on that website. Funny, they're using these tiny, so they're basically sticker tokens is my understanding. They have like adhesive on the back that you attach them to like pennies. I think you can use US or Canadian pennies and stick them on, and they turn your pennies into tokens. The only problem is those keys are really, really tiny that they're using. So hopefully we'll be able to track them, the ones that are far away in the video. So we see Silvertooth coming into play. Ready, obviously, is going to reap right away. Putting Nick on the left up to 3 amber now. Renee is only at 1 amber. And if I didn't already mention it, this is at Black Knight Games in Hamilton, Ontario. Every Thursday night is casual night where you come and play KeyForge. But for the month of December so far, the store has been hosting different tournament formats. So they did a Seal, they did a Archon, they've also done a Triad, which I attended last week, which is pretty cool. You bring 3 decks, your opponent eliminates one of the decks, and then you have to try to win with the other 2 in a best of 3, and then we played 3 rounds of Swiss, I want to say, and I did end up winning the tournament. A pat on my back. But it was a cool format to try to bring 2 decks that I wanted to play, and then 1 deck. My strategy was to bring a Horseman deck as a 3rd deck I wanted to make my opponents eliminate. It was a decent deck. It's a good Horseman deck, but I just didn't have much experience playing it. So I brought that to kind of make people look at your deck list, your 3 deck list, and throw away your Horseman deck. And then I get to play with my other 2 decks and smash your face. That was the idea. And it worked pretty good for the first 2 opponents. 3rd opponent didn't choose the Horseman deck, so I was forced to actually play with the Horseman deck, which did perform pretty well against his deck, and ended up winning it. So Triad was cool. And then this week coming up is the bring a crappy deck, I guess, or bring in a deck that your opponent is going to play against you. So you'll swap decks and play them. But yeah, you can check that all out at blackknightgames.ca or .com. Either way, Google Black Knight Games in Hamilton if you're in the area. Come on Thursday nights. There's always some KeyForge going on. So we have another Dominator coming in to play Stun. He's using a Squawker to ready him. Gain an amber off playing the Squawker. So Psychic Network action here. Steal 1 for each friendly ready Mars creature. Since he's got the 2 Dominators standing there, he's going to steal 2 Amber from his opponent. And of course, he's going to use both of his Dominators to get rid of those stuns. It's kind of cool that he got to get rid of a stun on a Dominator on the same turn that he put him into play. Seems efficient. And all those big 9 power Dominators are now up and ready to start smashing. And they do have some damage, so the problem is I'm not going to be able to tell how much damage has been put on any of those creatures. I believe that is damage tokens up on the Dominator and the Headhunter, but because the Burger tokens are so small and not really, I guess they're pretty camera friendly if I can get the camera over top, but I'll work on that in a future video. And I'll try to avoid this 2-player mat at future tournaments. I think it's too far away, too much space, or I'll try to get a rig that puts the camera up over top. So Charette, everyone knows Charette. She's coming into play and capturing 3. And a Master of 2 has the Reap ability. You may destroy a creature with 2 power. So now the problem is here, he's trying to use a Dominator Bauble. This is a tip for new players. To use a creature, they have to be readied, because you got to exhaust them to use them. So he's trying to use that action to use a creature, but there's no valid creatures right now to use. It'd have to be a ready and use. So the other problem here is Nick's a fairly new player. In fact, we're all new players here. But this is a sealed tournament. So even if, you know, you're kind of new, you bought a deck or 2, you played at home, and you come to a tournament. So you show up to a sealed tournament, you get thrown a deck that you have maybe tons of cards, maybe factions you don't even own, and you've never played with before. So it's kind of cool. But it sets some people back and kind of might make some road bumps on trying to figure out rules and card interactions. Because remember, not everyone there sits in the Facebook group or the FAQs or the different forums where the rules lawyers are hiding, and, you know, make sure they're up to date on all the interactions. So as the game matures, these are some of the roadblocks we'll hit. So he's played an action here that's allowing him to fight. And they're getting hit by the evasion sigil here. And it's not a Brobnar, so the Headhunter will fight Charette. So the action is follow the leader, play for the remainder of the turn. Each friendly creature may fight. So the Headhunter takes some hits back. So it looks like the Headhunter has, I'm going to say, it looks like 3 damage tokens and a 1 damage token. So he's sitting at 7 probably, and since he has that upgrade, he's at a 10 power level. So he's used the Dominator on the bottom there to smash the Master of 2. And he's going to take 3 back. I think he's putting armor tokens on here, but I don't think you need those unless they've gained armor. I don't think they have Mars creatures have a +1 armor right now. And I think that's what you're supposed to use the armor tokens for, is to show when you have increased armor. Because technically both those guys have been hit right now and have no armor. So Yo Mama Mastery is going to give the Headhunter taunt and fully heal him. He's going to gain an Amber off playing that upgrade. So the Headhunter is now fully healed, ready for some more smashing. Looks like Renee's sitting at 7 Amber now in his pool. Nick is only at 2. No creatures on board for Nick. And Renee doing a good job of putting his taunt creatures a little higher up on his battle line. That's something a lot of players have skipped over in the rule book, where you should be putting your taunt creatures a little perked forward on your battle line to let your opponent kind of know what's taunt. Because I hit that problem where I forget what's taunt on my opponent's board, and elusive is another one where I still goof that up, where I forget that there's a taunt guy or an elusive guy. So it's too bad there's nothing that signifies elusive to make it obvious, but at least taunt, you can put the guy a little higher. Oh, I see. His armor tokens flip So will armor is destroyed or intact. That's kind of cool. My bad on that. So save the pack. Destroying all damaged creatures. So good thing he healed up that headhunter before Nick's turn there. And he does gain a chain for playing that. So it looks like Nick's come across a very control-y deck here. Doesn't care about creatures, has some resets. And he's playing Curiosity, gets an Ember off that, destroys Scientist. And Nick mentioned there's no Logos there, but also in Mars there's some Scientists. So, but I still would just play that to get rid of it, get the Amber for now. You never know when you'll see a Scientist out of Mars or not. I'm sure Renee probably has a few in hand. We'll see some get dropped out here shortly, I'm sure. So we have a Dew Fairy coming out there that has Reap Gain 1. And Way of the Wolf to get an Amber and gives a Skirmish to the Dew Fairy. Dew Fairy's elusive, I believe. So we get a KeyForge on Renee's side on the right there. First key of the game. And he did flip a key there. You can see the lighter colored one in the top right, I guess, is a KeyForged. So we got Untamed named on the right side now. See what he's got here. A Witch of the Eye. Very powerful card. I love that card. So Ink of the Spider, I've recently come across this guy at a tournament. I didn't know he existed. But you play this little 1 damage creature and you stun a creature. And when he reaps, you also stun a creature. I don't know what other text he has on him. Let's try to find that out here. He's got poison. That's funny. So when someone attacks him, if they don't have armor to block his damage, they're going to die from the poison. That's an annoying little creature. I don't have him in any of my decks. Any of my 46 decks so far at this point. Yeah, I got a problem. So we got a Niffle Queen on the board now also. Giving +1 to Niffles and +1 to Beasts. And the Ink of the Spider is a beast. So that's a nice little interaction. Just make sure, yeah, Niffle Queen. Each other friendly beast creature gets +1 power. Each other friendly Niffle creature gets +1 power. So that Ink of the Spider is a +1 power, signified by that token on him, I assume. Like I said, I do apologize for the quality. It's a little bit lower quality on these videos just because of the dark corner of the store we're filming in here. But it's, like I said, the trade-off between bright area with glare or dark area with no glare, and I chose the darker area. But yeah, I'll remember to pack my lights next time I go there. So he's got a Cooperative Hunting being slapped down here. He's going to only be able to deal 2 damage from his having only 2 Dew Fairies into play. And he throws it both at Ink of the Spider, which I think is a very good target for that. Looks like he's got a Mimicry in hand, trying to decide what he wants to play from his opponent's discard pile. And he's just going to exhaust the other Dew Fairy to get rid of that stun that came in from Inca on the last turn. And here comes that Mimicry. So he's going to look through his opponent's discard pile after playing it. I don't know if it's beneficial right now to play that. Unless he's getting some Amber off the card. Is that minimum what I would do with it? And he doesn't have any friendly Ready Mars creatures, so that's not happening. Squawker. He could stun a non-Mars creature. Probably stun that Headhunter would be a good call. Maybe stun the Witch of the Eye.
Yeah, I think I'll do the... I'll do follow there. So the remainder turn each friendly creature can fight.
Okay. But they're still capped.
Oh, I thought they can fight well.
So he's chosen Follow the Leader, which I think is a bad call because he's trying to fight with each of his creatures, but they're exhausted, so they're not able to be used for any fights. Because to use a creature for fighting, reaping, or their action, you'd have to exhaust them.
There was the Mars one that says the only other one I can use is stun a
Yeah, I think he should use Squawker. The stun a non-Mars creature is the best call there. He gets an Amber off it. Let's see if they catch that. And it sounds like Renee's reminding him, like a classy gentleman he is. Yep, does take an Amber. Goes up to 5 on the left side. So now he's got to choose his stun target. I think Headhunter is probably the good call. Yeah, Headhunter for now, since unless he has a way to deal with him and wipe him off the board. Or Witch of the Eye, but I think maybe Witch of the Eye would have been another good call, but so over to Renee, he's going to look through his discard pile, of course, to see if he should go Untamed and try to cycle something back with a Reap off the Witch of the Eye that's in play. And if there's nothing juicy in there, which we know he has that Follow the Leader, which would be pretty good. But he's going to go Untamed, throw an Ancient Bear into play. He's going to Reap with both creatures. And he's going to Reap with Witch of the Eye. He's going to take back Ink of the Spider and play it right back into play and stun that Dew Fairy with Skirmish. Looks like what he's doing. Yep, stun the Dew Fairy with Skirmish. With the Way of the Wolf upgrade. It's one dangerous Dew Fairy, my friends. One dangerous Dew Fairy. So if you guys haven't already, you should follow us over on twitch.tv/Rob's Gaming Table. The holidays are coming up. I have a couple weeks off work. We'll definitely be doing some streaming over there. Probably do some KeyForge streaming at some point on weeknights coming up and on weekends possibly too. But yeah, so look forward to that. And follow us over on Twitch. I'll try to stream to both YouTube and Twitch at some points also. But just had a little trouble with that last time. So but I definitely got to try that again.
So you get one when you reap?
So we got to Reap off the Dew Fairy. He's going to gain 1 off of his ability.
On top of that.
Oh yeah. Right.
Which,
You do have to tap the bubble.
Yep. And then
so, oh, he's named Dis, and he's used the Dominator Bauble to use that Dew Fairy. And Witch of the Eye is going to be destroyed. Nick has realized the recurring cards is a bad thing, and he doesn't want to see that happen anymore.
that's all I can do. And then I'm in check.
So 7 Amber, we got a check there on the left side. Gonna ready up his cards, and over to Renee on the right. See if he can get Nick off of forging a key next turn, or just continue to push ahead as he's in the lead 1 key to 0 right now. So we got unnamed now tamed, named as the active house for Renee on the right.
I'm just going to reap with all 3.
This is sounds like he's reaping with the Ancient Bear, the Niffle Queen, and the Inca Spider.
Yes. So you got some.
And he's going to throw a stun on the other Dew Fairy off of the Ink of the Spider's Reap ability. His play/Reap ability.
That is my turn. I am
So now 6 Amber on the right side. No cards played from hand. And now it's up to Nick to forge a key here and try to slow his opponent down. Or just continue to race ahead. But with stun Dew Fairies, it's definitely slowing you down. Those Dew Fairies are very powerful if you can get them reaping over and over again, that's for sure.
going to ask you guys if you can just make bigger ones that will fit on like poker chips or something.
Oh yeah.
That are like closer to this size. It's really my only gripe with these tokens.
So this turn I'm gonna play Shadows
So we got Shadows named as the active house on the left side.
with Bait and Switch.
And we got the Bait and Switch! So not a bad hit at all. So now 4 on Nick's side. On the left, only 3 on Renee's side. He's off of forging a key. Got a second a second evasion sigil out there, just in case you could get rid of the first one. He's got a second one. Get an Amber off that. So he's now sitting at 5 Amber. Does he have a way to get up to 6 and really maybe catch up here and get his second KeyForge next turn?
Nerve Blast, steal 1. If I do deal 2,
And he's got a Nerve Blast. There it goes. He stole another one. So we're seeing that Shadows come into play now and definitely pull some Amber back, slow his opponent down, and speed him up. That's just what he needed. And he dealt 2 damage to the Inca Spider off of Nerve Blast. And he throws out a... which Shadows creature is that?
I'm in check again.
Is that a Nexus? Don't know. It's hard to tell. See if I can look at some art and compare it here. This text is too small to be Magna the Rat, but she has very purple art. Oh, it's just an Umbra. It's an Umbra, which has skirmish and fight, steal 1. He's 2 damage, no armor, and has elf and thief traits. It should be rated up now, I believe. So over to Renee. We got Nick check on what's he got? 6 there. And we don't see any way in play for Renee on the right to steal any, capture any, or make him lose any.
I'm just looking at assault before this creature attacks. What happens first? I don't think it's exactly the same wording.
So they're trying to figure out Ancient Bear's assault here. So when he would go to fight,
So like if you were to attack the Duke, you'd still take out the Duke area, for example.
let's read Evasion Sigil and try to figure this out while they're trying to figure it out.
And then the evasion goes off.
So Evasion Sigil, before a creature fights, discard the top card of its controller's deck. If the discarded card is the active house, exhaust that creature with no effect. So let's check.
Are you guys open until midnight?
Let's check here. Ancient Bear, Assault 2. Before this creature attacks, deal 2 damage to the attacked enemy. So they're both before. We got before a fight and before attacks.
Judge ruling. Who's judging? I guess.
So they're asking the judge here, but I'm assuming the active player would choose which one goes off first.
These 2 cards. So before creature fight, stuff happens. Assault is before creature attacks. It's not exactly the same wording, but is that the same timing?
So before a creature fights, discard the top target card of its controller's deck. Exhaust that creature with effect. Okay. This creature attacks, deal 2 damage to the attack.
The question is like if it even passed and it exhausted just the 2 damage from the attack.
Right. So, how I would assume it works, I'll look it up just in case. But for now, I would say that the 2 damage goes through,
That's what we were
and then
thinking.
it
And then
exhausts.
happens. That was what we thought.
Yeah.
Because they're at the same timing
Right.
interval, so they would, I assume, both happen at the
So the judge is going to rule here that Ancient Bear is going to go off first if an untamed card is flipped off of Evasion Sigil. Guys, if you know the answer, feel free to leave it in the comments below to let us know in the future, and future viewers of this video know. I don't want to start looking it up now and get distracted from the commentary. But yeah, that's the beauty of YouTube. If you guys can leave comments below and let us know if there's some ruling done wrong, we always appreciate it because it does improve the quality of the videos going forward to use them as a teaching tool for future viewers to go browse down those comment sections and see if there's something that was goofed up wrong or if anyone has questions. So Evasion Sigil and Ancient Bear. I think Evasion Sigil would go first, decide if the fight's even going to happen. But I know in a fight you got to kind of like name your target first. So I don't know what happens first, and then the active player may get to just choose which one goes off first. And in that case, he'll just choose that the Ancient Bear goes off first before the Evasion Sigil, which probably is where I would go. Is if I didn't know for sure, I would just let the active player make the choice, since they sound like they happen both at the same time. But
Yeah, the assault would kill it.
And then I don't really have a target anymore, so I don't think I flip cards.
It is still a fight because it's still fighting it.
Well, it's dead before the
so now they're trying to figure out the Ancient Bear would deal 2 damage, which kills one of those elusive creatures before the fight even happens. So they're trying to determine whether he discards a card from Evasion Sigil. So this is where you're in that awkward situation of when does it happen. So hopefully they figure it out and just get through it here.
that goes through, but I still mill cards, you think?
Yeah, I think you would still mill because you're still declaring it to fight something. Yeah. And then the assault happens. The fight, because it was a
Yeah, I think Nick might be right here. I still think you discard a card because it's still before the fight.
But whatever, let's do it anyway. Like, I want that thing out before. So
So
it'll fight, but I'm still going to mill 2.
So he's
mill 2, and then the result's the same as still exhausted.
okay. So he's fighting. They threw the Ancient Bear's Assault 2 at Umbra, kills Umbra, and then because there's 2 Evasion Sigils, he's discarded 2 cards off the top of the deck, which is pretty nuts. I just realized that Evasion Sigil, I guess, would do that. You would do both of them.
Assuming anyone's watching. Because, I mean, I'm here.
So 2 evasion sigils. That's my other question. Do you hit them both twice? Do they both go off like that? I would assume so, but that feels like it might be wrong. But yeah, another one. Leave the comments below, guys. Let us know how bad we're all goofing up here or not. But that does seem very dirty. So we got Ember Imp coming into play. Renee is now not allowed to play more than 2 cards on a turn unless he kills the Ember Imp. Gets him off the board somehow. So, Restringuntus. He's going to pick a house, and Renee cannot name that house until Restringuntus is gone. So he's going to name Untamed.
I need little tokens specifically for that card.
Yeah.
And we know he has Control the Weak in the deck. So we could do that little combo and kind of like make him not be able to name a house on a turn, which is kind of cool.
Did I give you all the cards, or did yeah, you give me all the cards. What cards? Untamed, just for restring.
And then to carry on with the turn.
Actually,
I don't know where boom. Here's not untamed.
well, it doesn't. I can't not use Untamed. It's Restringuntus. I can't put not Untamed on it.
Oh, I understand.
Don't worry about it.
Let's see. I mean, you could just put a chain over the Untamed icon or whatever.
guess,
Maybe,
yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
So there's no official
Yeah,
timing sequence or
we
anything
went on
like
with
that
it anyway,
yet.
so we had, because he declared the fight, that the visions went through, but the 2 damage.
That's how I would.
That's how
roll
we thought it.
That feels reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need it?
Yeah.
So it sounded like the judge looked up online but couldn't find a timing chart or anything to figure out what happens before the fight with Ancient Bear and Evasion Sigil. So Dominator Bobble, so he's on his disc turn here. He's going to use one of the Dew Fairies to get the stun off, which makes sense. So we haven't seen many Mars cards played from Renee on the right since he had those 2 Dominators on the board. And Schuler coming into play, not doing anything since the opponent doesn't have 4 or more amber. He can't steal 1. And we did see Nick. He's now at 2 KeyForge. Renee is only at 1, so now Nick on the left is in the lead with his control deck here. And now his board's getting a little wide. And we got Mars named on the right side, so just as I said, we haven't seen Mars in a while. Here it comes. And Ammonia Clouds dealing 3 damage to each creature. Wiping the board, sort of. So Schuler's only going to be left on the other side. Now, I bet Nick wishes he had his Save the Pack now to destroy all damaged creatures. He can quickly draw through his deck and try to get to it, unless he has another copy. That could be pretty game-changing. So there's John Smith, and I think he's a scientist. Let's see here. John Smith, John Smythe, however you say it. He's Agent and Martian. I do have a few scientists, though, in Mars. So I always know when I have curiosity in my deck, I pay attention to Mars factions and Logos faction creatures looking for scientists. He does have another Save the Pack. Oh, my. Oh, my. Wow. Okay, so all of them get destroyed except for the 2 John Smythes.
John Smith and John Smith are alive. Everything else is dead.
Wow. Oh, wow. I didn't think he'd have one in hand. Man, 2 Save the Packs. Really control a deck. I like it.
2 chains for that? 1 chain.
And, of course, it takes a chain for playing that again. So we got an Ancient Bear coming into play.
Oh my goodness, it's a bird.
So it makes sense in a deck with 2 evasion sigils when you're trying to, prevent fighting. You got to have some way of dealing with creatures in your deck, and so far 2 save the packs, and that 1 discard so far that destroys a creature that's not on the flank. Seem like pretty good choices for the deck. Sure, he might have other tricks in there. So we see a Think Drone put into play. And we got to reap off John Smith. And he's going to ready the Think Drone. And the Think Drone has a reap. You may archive a friendly creature or artifact from play. I don't think he's going to do that. And he's going to reap off the other John Smith, and we'll see how the combo with John Smith's and another non-agent Marge creature kind of gets silly. And just like that, Renee is now sitting at 7 amber. Wow, okay. What is that? So that looked like mating season. Gets an amber off playing that Mars action. Play, shuffle each Mars creature into its owner's deck. Each player gains 1 amber for each creature shuffled into their deck this way. So his deck looks pretty small. So yes, he does lose all those Mars creatures, but now look, he's sitting on a ton of amber. And I'm sure Nick now wishes he had that bait and switch.
Oh, I just got like 9 amber in 1 turn.
Okay.
So it looks like he's sitting on 11 amber for Renee on the right, but has nothing in play. And only 1 KeyForge at this time.
Watch the stream and then rewind a minute. Actually, I don't think he's streaming. I think he's just recording. Because he's got 2 cameras up.
So just heard Renee mention there, I do have 2 cameras at the store, so I did film a couple games each round. But one of the rounds we didn't get players on the camera, so I think I got 5 videos from this tournament. Have another 2 or 3 tournaments in the hopper, got some videos from, so make sure you subscribe and hit that little alarm bell button on YouTube to be notified when the next videos get posted. I have lots more coming, and lots more tournaments scheduled over the holidays too, so yeah, I'll definitely have lots of coverage coming up. So stick around to Rob's Gaming Table on YouTube. You'll get your commentated KeyForge tournament matches. So we got Bad Penny. And we got a Nerve Blast coming in, destroying Bad Penny, bringing her back out into play. He does get to steal 1 off of that. I'm not sure the other creature at the top. Now maybe that's a Nexus. But I could be wrong. Let's try to find out what that creature is. Yeah, that is Nexus. He's elusive. He's got Reap. Use an opponent's artifact as if it were yours. That guy is trouble. Don't leave him out on the board for too long unless you have no artifacts like Renee's got going on here. And we got a KeyForge for 6, leaving 4 amber left for Renee. Can he get up to 6 here and put his opponent in check? Right, he's going to name Brobnar. And there's an artifact. So he gains an amber off playing it. And he can use it to deal 4 damage to a creature. Tremor's going to stun a creature and both of his neighbors. So this is why he's playing the Javelin. To protect it, he's going to use the stun so that Nexus doesn't just use it against Renee on a future turn here. It could use it on a future turn, but not the next turn. Most likely. So he's going to put Blood of the Titans, and he's just trying to get the Amber off of it. And he's going to buff Nexus up by 5 power. And he's sitting at check, so desperate times call for desperate measures here. And he put no creatures in play. So it's up to Nick here to try to steal an Amber to keep this going. Or make the keys cost more for Renee on the right there. So Mind Barb, he's going to get an Amber for playing that. And he's going to take a card at random out of his opponent's hand. He gets rid of a War Drummer. It's the one that comes into play, bounces all friendly Brobnar creatures back to your hand. Great for reusing come into play effects or cleaning off damage off your Brobnar creatures.
I will play a Schuler. So your opponent has 4 more.
So Schuler, there he goes. That's the steal he needs. Comes into play. 4 more Amber on the other side. He gets to steal 1. And Charette to capture 3. So he was not sweating at all there. He had a way to slow his opponent down. The only problem is he's only sitting at 3 Amber himself. And he needs to quickly get ahead of his opponent here and close this out. They're both sitting on 2 keys. I am kind of rooting for Nick since he's a newer player. He's definitely played less. He is the underdog here, and he is playing my style of deck, which is a control deck. So sorry, Renee. I'm kind of rooting for him here. I love the way this game you can have, you know, you don't have to have all the creatures on the board or all the artifacts, and you can still be gaining amber. I like that. And he used a Dominator Bauble to get the stun off of Nexus. And sitting on 3, passes it over to Renee, who's got 2 amber in his pool. Got 3 amber staring at him from Charette there in play. If you can just destroy Charette, which he can do off of that Javelin artifact he has in play, he can easily get that 3 back. But he does need to get 1 more somehow. And to put himself in check again. So he is going to do the Javelin to kill Charette, get 3 amber back. Grasping Vines. Here's the artifact control he needed. Gets an amber off of it. And puts all 3 artifacts back to his opponent's hand. I bet he wished he saw that card a lot earlier in the game. And we got Murmook, which has raised the key cost. And Bear Flute coming into play. Exhausted. So you can't use those yet. So now over to Nick. What can he do here? What can he do to steal an amber, or take control of Murmook, or to raise the cost some other way? And he may be in trouble here. Does he have another Shadow Steel card in hand? He's gone through his deck already. Did he draw anything? We know he's got 2 evasion sigils he can just slap down to get a couple amber, but it's not going to help him here. He's reading all his cards, just checking here. I think he may be stuck. Obviously, I recommend always, if you got time left on the clock, take a minute, read through your cards, look at what's on the board, just check if there's anything you can do, and see if there's any way you can get your opponent off of forging. But looks like Nick may be stuck.
I mean, at that point, I can just, they'll eventually come out with acrylic keys as prizes. So.
Looks like he's got a bunch of artifacts in hand, and not really much to do. So while we're waiting for Nick to decide here whether the game's over, like I said, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button on these KeyForge videos. Let me know you guys like them. Help other people find them on YouTube. Feel free to leave comments below on YouTube. Also, feel free to share these videos among like the Facebook groups, Reddits, you know, your forums where you browse, where you chat. Send them to your friends, all that kind of stuff. Spread the love and let other people know these videos exist so they can all come and check them out. We can get discussions going in the chat about different play styles, rules, goof ups, you know, cool combos, cool decks we see, that kind of thing. So he's going to do a pawn sacrifice here, play it for the amber. He's going to sack. I don't know what happened there. Who do you sack? I'm not sure what just happened there, but oh, so he sacrificed Bad Penny, went back to hand to deal 3 damage, I guess, to Murmook, but I think he had to do 3 damage to another creature, and that's going to be it. And yeah, so congrats to Renee on that one there. Thanks again to both players for playing on camera. So we got lots more videos coming up from this series, plus future ones, so stay tuned for that. Like I said, head over to twitch.tv/Rob's Gaming Table to watch us live stream KeyForge and other board game playthroughs there. And yeah, just thanks a lot for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.